Hey folks, well, unlikely heroes, Källgren has sure helped bring the temperature down in Leaf land. Trade deadline, all seems quiet on the Western Front, but we're going to break it all down for you right here on the OZone.
You're in the offensive zone, your place for Leafs hockey.
Hey folks, welcome to the offensive zone. That's Coach. That's KD. I'm the Depot. We're going to hear talking all things Leafs for you today. Well, just when all hope seemed lost, pathetic effort versus Buffalo in that horrible classic game. Our star gets suspended. No goaltending at all. Bam! Spirited effort from the Buds. What'd you see, Katie?
Well, the last two games, Dallas and certainly in Carolina, we saw a lot more positive things, and I'll give mostly positive today. I was pretty pleased. If you look at the new experiment, I think Lyubushkin allows Riley to be Riley more than when he was playing with Liljegren. I thought he looked way more freed up and way more involved in the offense, and I thought that was good. I think an important goal, I guess, game-winning goal against Carolina from the makeshift second line. So Kerfoot, Nylander, and Cache. I thought for the most part they were pretty crappy in that game, but they did score a big goal, which was good. I thought 91 looked really good on the first line, which now leads us to believe that the second line woes are more of an issue with 15 and 88 than they were with
100%.
With the center there,
Tavares.
with Johnny Tavares. So I thought that was good. And when I watched those games, 15 Kerfoot is in terrible position in his own end, and against Carolina, he was really bad. So I won't point it out anymore. But positioning going into the playoffs for that line in their own end, they got to figure something out, or they have to figure the line out. I thought the Källgren was playing really well. And if we want to look at a classic example of a timely save, the ones that we haven't been getting, 2 minutes into the Dallas game, Sandin had a terrible pinch. It's a terrible decision. Dallas had a 2-on-1 the whole way down the ice, had a grade A scoring chance, and Källgren made the save. What happened? They turn around. Sandin probably had his best game. Would he have had his best game had he made that mistake and been scored on 2 minutes in? Maybe not. It turned it around. The team loosened up. The goaltender looked great. I thought that was the true definition of a timely save, and it looked good. And then I really like the idea of playing Carolina. Carolina plays real fast all the time, and especially in their own end, that idea you have to be very quick and very direct to their net. You can't stall around and make the extra pass or delay. They gobble that up right away, so you have to be very direct to the net. So it took them 10 minutes to get their speed going, but I would actually love to play Carolina 10 more times before playoffs. I think they would be much more playoff ready having to play that team. But, I guess we'll give it a B+/A for the last two games. I thought it was really, really good to see.
All right, Coach, what'd you see?
I like seeing playoff Fred early. That first goal we got against Carolina was horrendous. That is vintage playoff Fred Anderson. Nice to see you, bud. I like that we got a save in both of those games. That's fantastic. Yeah. I think you give the Leafs 900 or better goaltending, look out. They're fifth in the league, guys, with the woes that we've been talking about forever. So, great record right now, 2 in a row. Seems to maybe have righted the ship for now. So I love both games. I also liked that one of my predictions came true before the Dallas game. I said, just watch John Klingberg in his own end, and you'll know why we do not want this guy. So this is an example. It's 3 seconds of tape. It's also a plea to boy wonder, Kyle Dubas. Put the juice box down and listen. You cannot trade for this guy. Okay, here we go. Here. Let me show you this in 5 stills over 3 seconds. 15 minutes, 29 seconds left in the third. 3-0 Leafs, and it's in the Stars' end. I've circled Klingberg. He's with his guy. Okay, the puck is going to come back up to the point. Klingberg has great position on his guy. Next frame, he's looking. He's lost his guy. He's looking at the point. That's okay. You need to find where the puck is. That's fine. But his job is not to let his guy get to the net. Okay, it's very clear. A frame later, he's still looking at the puck. He believes he's got Nylander, his guy, under control. Okay, and the next frame here is where he loses it. In watching the puck and not getting any kind of position, Nylander sneaks in front of him. He's right in front of the net. Klingberg has gone in half a second from being in good position to not giving a hoot and letting Nylander right back. This puck's going to Robertson for the one-timer. By the way, you can see why Robertson scores. He gets in great position here. And here comes the shot. Nylander's right in front, stick on the ice. Klingberg's got one hand, and he's trying to take him. Does that look familiar to us? We don't tie up sticks in front of our net either. So this guy's gone from great position to, I'm going to watch the puck, maybe see if I can get out here on the rush, to, oh, my God, my guy's right in front. The Leafs didn't score here, but this happens all the time. I'm a Stars fan for 80 games of the year. It happens all the time. We cannot trade for this guy. So I like that was exposed. Hopefully I brought that to folks that don't have the keen eye of the coach.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, over the last couple games, I'll keep this pretty short. I mean, Källgren looks calm, quiet, and collected in the crease. That's something we've really needed, since about Christmas time. But you know who's been really good and has seemingly got no credit? And even when the Leafs weren't playing particularly well, he was playing pretty solid hockey, is Justin Hall. And I just thought I would take the opportunity. You know, Diva doesn't play the narrative. Devo's going to call it, he's going to call balls and strikes, and Justin Hall's been solid. And I just wanted to give him a bit of a shout out there. Coach, what didn't you like?
Hey, so you're giving people credit for something when they haven't, they've just kind of been good. Did you bring Mrs. Devo flowers too? Like, are you being appreciative this week? Is that the deal?
This is it.
When did you turn over the new leaf?
It's Lent.
Pun intended. Okay, here's what I don't like. So look, we're coming up on the deadline. Deadline's top of mind, and there's been a shift in the not this expert, the supposed experts. That Leafs just need a D. Doesn't matter if it's right D or left D. Let me show you why it has to be right D. Here's one from The Athletic just this morning. Okay, what if you added Hampus Lindholm? What does your pairs look like? And so you got Riley back with Brody. We know that works. And you could plug in here Hampus Lindholm. It could be also Mark Giordano. And they would play with Hall. We know Hall and Riley don't play well together, so Hall would be your second pair guy, right? Well,
do we know that?
Yeah.
Do we know that? Yeah?
Yeah. I mean, not so much this year. He struggled so much they haven't even tried it. But Liljegren hasn't worked. Sandin for sure hasn't worked. Maybe Lyubushkin could work. But this is their projection here where Jake Muzzin now, if he comes back, plays in the third pair, and you got Sandin on the right side. Here's what we know for sure. Sandin cannot play the right side. He's played a game with Muzzin, and it was horrendous. He played a game with Riley, and it was worse. So if you do this, you've got capable third-pair right-side guys like Lyubushkin or Liljegren. They can play the right side. Are you willing to sit Sandin? Because if you add a left D, this is what this looks like. Sandin's the odd man out. I don't think they are. And I don't think he's ready to play right D even on the third pair. So this is the problem. And then you could say, well, why don't we try Sandin again with Riley? Well, here's the problem, guys. You can't play two like-minded guys together. It's like if you had Van Halen, okay? Eddie Van Halen's the guitarist. Devo, you're a music guy. You get this. Mm-hmm. You can't have Alex Lifeson playing bass. They're both lead guitarists. They both want to go. They both want to give you the solo. You can't have that, okay? You need a counterbalance. The way you put pairs together, it's chemistry. There's a reason why Michael Anthony and his Jack Daniels bass guitar was a great compliment for Eddie Van Halen going all over the place before he was drinking for those 20 years. But similarly, Alex Lifeson's fantastic. You need Geddy Lee. He's the stabilizing force. You need chemistry with these pairs. You actually need a guy who can play the left side, and you need a guy who can play the right side. You can't just fire a guy in and hit and hope. So they need a right D. I'll get off my soapbox because I don't think we're doing another one till the trade deadline. But there you go. That's what I don't like.
All right, KD.
Yeah, I touched on it a little bit earlier. That second line, just the defensive positioning over and over again. Like I'll stop talking about it when they start doing it right. But I watched the over again. I watched it the second time, the Carolina game, and Kerfoot was never in his position. And the reason why it's a problem is if you're never where the other people think you're supposed to be, you can't move the puck that way. You always end up losing a man. A man gets out of you get out of position. The guy gets freed up, and you just have to be there. So, for a guy who came over to Toronto as a defensive, they didn't call him a defensive specialist, but they,
Some did.
He had
Some called him one.
He had the reputation of being a great defensive player. He's maybe the worst player. Like he's in worse position than Nylander. And when you're on the same line and you're a worse defensive player than William Nylander, like you guys are lost. Like so.
Please tell me the Kraken are not watching this because we're moving him in the next couple of days to Seattle, right?
So so they need to sort that out. And again, it's all mental stuff. This is not that they can't do it; it's just that they're not doing it. So it's a problem that can be fixed internally, but. I don't know. Like we've gone game after game of them playing so loose in their own end. I don't think it'll ever change.
Yeah, it's interesting. We got Kerfoot, who's apparently a winger, but also a center. And, everyone's talked about how Nylander could be a center as well. Those guys are just not positional players. I don't know how anyone can legitimately call these guys NHL centers. Just putting that out there. One thing I didn't talk about earlier that I have to say, Matthews goes out, so 91 fills in on the top line. Boy, was it nice to see him smile in that first game against Dallas. It looked like he loved hockey again. And we're reminded why he's paid such a big salary because he looked pretty good. He looked like a guy who could center a top line in the NHL again. We got to do something about that second line. We got to give him something. Mm-hmm. All right, let's lay it all on the line, fellas. It's prediction time. Leafs are in Music City. Play the Predators. What's going to happen? I'm going to start with you today, Coach.
Well, I'm going to give you my prediction, but first I have to make an apology. Got all kinds of blowback from the subscriber base, especially guys on my beer league team. I made a comparison about a week ago to our guy Marv McLeod, him and Austin Matthews. And so our lawyers have prepared a statement. And hold on, let me get this here. Okay, so in a previous podcast, the OZone compared Marv McLeod to Austin Matthews. This comparison was made in jest. Obviously, the two players are not comparable. However, we have become aware that the comparison has placed undue pressure on one of these individuals as he has tried unsuccessfully to live up to the comparison. The OZone regrets this error and sincerely apologizes to Austin Matthews and the Leaf organization for placing this unfair burden on him. All right, the lawyers will be happy now. Yeah, on to the prediction. So I'm saying that the first ever subscriber meetup in Nashville tonight, I'm going, and the Paducah, Kentucky contingent is meeting me there. It will be a success. 4-1 win if the Swede plays, 5-4 win if Mrazek plays. And I might be sounding like you did to start this podcast tomorrow morning, Kev. As Jim Leahy would say, couple of drinks, Randy.
All right, KD, what do you think's going to happen?
I think our 34, our I guess scoring leader, is going to come back full of piss and vinegar. I think he scores a hat trick. Leafs win 5-1.
Wow. Ooh. Well, last time I predicted a Leafs loss, which was the first time I predicted a Leafs loss this year, they went on a 2-game winning streak and looked pretty good. So I'm going to keep that going, and I'm going to predict a 4-1 loss to hopefully rally the buds. I think Matthews is going to score. There you have it, folks. I think something big's right around the corner. We got an announcement coming. We don't know what it's going to be, but we're going to bring you the news when it comes in. Because we love you, and we care, and you want to be right here with us on the OZone.